There's no zoom on that, is there?
No, we're not that cool. Not for the sun.
That's right. That's So hi everybody out there in the internet land. All four of you.
All four of us.
Yeah, right. But okay, so I mean we can start. What the heck? But I had this idea last night, and I feel bad a little bit because my goal isn't to come in and monopolize the presentation matrix up there, and this will be my third session. But what I wanted this to be was just a group discussion, or basically it's going to be a brainstorming session, and just putting like what are the websites people go to get information about space, and I think what's going to come out of this is that there's going to be different categories of information, kind of thing. Yeah. Because Jim, you were saying that you run what website?
I don't actually run a website. What I do is we do stargazing programs. And as a handout, I will provide a list of good websites so people can go home and take what they've learned and keep going with it.
So, and the websites that you provide that are on your list, are they astronomy-related websites?
Yeah, they're standard ones. One I always include is the local astronomy clubs. People want to go to other stargazing programs, star parties, get their schedule.
I hadn't thought of this before, but there are going to be categories.
So my Safari has whole categories of different astronomy-related things. Yeah. I don't have science or astronomy. I have like subsets.
Okay, perfect. So by saying just astronomy, I'm
that's
shorthand of that. Because what there's also going to be is there's going to be like corporate homepages kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'll just call it corporate, and that would include the NASA.gov,
sure.
That kind of thing. There's going to be info and wiki sites,
right?
And maybe there's others. In here I would include like the space launch, now sites, the say again.
The news sites.
The news sites.
Space news sites.
Space news. Okay. NASA Watch. That kind of stuff.
Spaceflight Now.
Yeah, right, Spaceflight Now. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe there's more than that, more category than that. Okay, so let me, and how about yourself? Any websites that, okay, so if I said, what websites do you go to for information on a daily basis?
Probably, the first one I'd probably mention is Space News. I subscribe.
SpaceNews.com.
Yep. And of course, the 800-pound gorilla, NASA itself.
NASA.gov.
Yep. And depending on what I'm looking for, there's another type of blog I go to, Space Daily.
And that's at spacedaily.com?
Spacedaily.com.
Don't go to space.com?
I hit that too. And I'm trying to think what other ones I hit. Occasionally the Florida Today, the local papers.
Yeah, that's a good source.
Okay. Yeah, local paper.
The Orlando Sentinel, HoustonChronicle.com, those guys.
These are all very corporate sites you go to.
Yeah.
Very, very established industry, kind of like what. And I'm just making an observation. Or today, what's one? Is it Houston something?
Yeah, the Houston Chronicle.
CBS Space Place, Bill Harwood.
Yeah, Bill Harwood's site, CBS Space. Yeah, right. Yeah. Trying to think of all the sites I do research for the darn podcast.
Do you
NASA Watch is in there too?
That would be like a space policy kind of thing. It's not too much of a news thing.
You think that's a different category?
I would think so, because they're more of a discussion thing.
There's another site I hit, Space Policy Online.
Okay, so Jeff Fowler's thing?
I don't know if it's Jeff's.
That's kind of the thing I was
I
thinking.
don't think that's Jeff.
Is this just
That's
spacepolicy.com?
that's Marcia Smith's.
That's Marcia Smith's,
Yeah.
okay. Jeff's is which, then? Is it spacepolicy.com?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
We should find out. Come on,
I guess you'd have to put,
Parabolic arc.
yeah, that's a good one.
It does, it's actually pretty good. I like it.
now would you include something like Google Moon, since you have to access the internet to do that? Or is it like a resources category?
Yeah, I mean, let's not exclude them, right?
Okay.
So like I like
Like a reference.
instead of
site
references,
or
references.
resource, yeah.
There's space rep for that.
So let me put it in there. Moon.com. I'll put ETC and then I put Google Mars and stuff. Space ref.
Yep. Which I think is also Keith Kelling's Twitter.
Well, that's the, yeah, right. I mean, astronautics.com, there's another one.
Parsec 3, which is a new one, I think that's,
Maybe not. Parsec 3?
yeah, that's a new one.
That you probably wouldn't run into unless you're on Twitter.
Well, I know the person who runs it.
That's what I mean.
Astronautics.
The question is, how would you have found her otherwise?
Yep.
Okay. You don't. Have you ever heard of Hobby Space?
Yes.
No, I haven't. Let me check that out.
And I'm surprised that Clark isn't here. And let me give you a commercial about Hobby Space here real quick. And the associated
Yep. Oh,
website.
okay, and then you've got another one, Collect Space, that's,
Well, yeah, it's Collect Space. I don't know as much. Hobby Space is based on the premise that space is not just for scientists and engineers and astronomers and stuff. It could be a bunch of different stuff, and so people can get involved with space in a lot of different kind of other types of domains. And so he maintains this fairly extensive website on like space art, space music, space dance, as well as RLVs, like RLVnews.com, and all these other things. And so if ever, for example, I'm looking for information on biological research done on ISS, he's got a whole section with a bunch of links of past articles. So it's like a literature search of web links to stuff. And so the guy who runs it is a guy named Clark Lindsay, and it's absolutely fantastic, and it's one of my preset tabs.
That's actually one of the sites that I include on my satellites website.
Because I'm sure it's
satellite handout. Rather.
Clark lives not far from here, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, he must be out of town, because otherwise he'd be here normally. I will put in a plug for my fairly static commercial space. It's a PB Works wiki. Commercial space wiki that I've got going on, and basically it's a place for me to put all my all my bookmarks and things, and links to documents and links to reports and stuff going on in commercial space. I keep an extensive calendar of events going on, upcoming conferences and things. So like I said, basically no matter where I am in the world, I can access my my lists of information. But since PB Works started off as PB Wiki, PB Works is a free service available on the web. I was able to set this thing up, and so I've had it going for 2-3 years now. So that's there. Would you spaceflight now? Did I write that up here yet?
You should.
I should. Absolutely should.
That kind of was leading to something else I was going to add, but I'm not sure whether it's in the astronomy category or where it would go, but I use heavensabove.com all the time.
Again, for star charting?
It's for, no, for satellite spotting.
Ah,
Oh, that's right, yes.
Iridium flares and whatnot.
That's great.
You get a crowd of people and show them an iridium flare.
Oh, yeah, no, that's super.
Yeah.
That
In
is
fact,
great.
one time I conjured one for Halloween. Got a
Oh, did you? You said, oh, I'm going to...
And I had my star costume, my Star Wizard's costume, and I go, I'm going to conjure a star in 30 seconds. And they go, what? And I start going, Walla Walla Walla, Washington. And boom, there's this blazing thing, and they'll go,
How did you do that? Oh, that's great. No, really.
I wish I could do that more often, but
Yeah.
they don't always come along on Halloween.
Well, since we're putting in shameless plugs,
Yeah, shameless plugs are good.
my own podcast website, Talking Space, talkingspaceonline.com.
All one word?
Yep.
Audio and video, I guess. So vidcast.
There's some
Space
vidcast on there.
Say again?
There's a little vidcast on there, but not. We're trying to expand.
Should I mention Space Vidcast too?
Yes, we should.
Oh God, yes.
We'll be flamed by all. We won't be invited back.
Yeah, I have absolutely no problem.
That may not be a blackboard.
It looks like this.
Somebody, okay, because somebody used one in one of the other rooms and they go, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, it'll be chalk. Will be
Okay.
the damage done if. I'll at least do that. Okay, so rvnews.com tied in with the hobby space. Okay. I mean, there's a gazillion astronomy ones, and I'm not trying to minimize astronomy.
Well, that's why I'm here, to broaden my perspective.
Perfect. Well, yeah, and, well, let me pull this back. Well, again, some of these were pretty stated, stodgy kind of news sources,
Yeah.
which just because who I am, I stay away from those, because you get those all the time anyways, right? But they're good sources, as informed as they may or may not be. Personally, and I know a lot of people have different feelings about Keith Cowing, I absolutely love NASA Watch. You know, it's been nominated for awards from within NASA and shot down because...
I probably know the answer to this, but I see someone keeps referencing someone to NASAcutandpaste.com. Is that who they're referring to?
I don't think so. Well, maybe, I don't know. I've never heard of that.
How about this one, Astronomy FM? I'm an idiot. We're broadcast on that. It's part radio station, part astronomy.
Oh,
no, it's just astronomy.fm.
Period?
Yep.
And let's not forget the space show.
Yep.
Actually, the space show, and if I don't have good words to say about all these websites, it's just because I don't know all these websites. But the space show, when you look back over the years and years and years that he's been doing shows, David Livingston, he's got a lot, I mean, he's had a lot of people, just 2, 3, 4 shows a week, and I've been on a couple times, and I always go for the 90-minute interviews. He's got two-hour shows, and I'm going, holy cow, 90 minutes is plenty for most people.
Yeah.
And so I always go with the short format shows. But he's had pretty much everybody that's involved, at least with the current space activities going on. It's not just commercial space. It's he's got people from all ends of the spectrum on the thing. So this is really good in terms of when you look over who he's had on his shows. It's a real good who's who of authors.
And he has them all archived?
Yeah, and they're all downloadable. Get anyone you want, all MP3s. Send a generous donation to spaceshow.com. I'm sure you'd love it.
Yeah, that's.
And while we're doing, I'm going to put another category. Well, it's kind of info. It's not really a website. I know a guy. It's called the Lurio Report. Info source. .com, run by a guy named Charles Lurio, who generates a newsletter on a periodic basis. I don't even know if it's got a specific frequency. But that's, the website is basically send me money and I'll send you this newsletter. And so he sends out this email newsletter. Deals a lot with commercial space, emerging commercial space.
Okay.
But that's another source. Pretty good. What's the Space Frontier Foundation website? Then you can go into the organization's ISD, NSS's website, Space Frontier Foundation's website. So I don't even know what those URLs are.
Well, NSS is nss.org, and Space Frontier Foundation is spacefrontier.org.
The site I use for a lot of things for the programs I do is actually YouTube. I don't know if you want to put that in there. But for example, as far as I know, the only video of this event caught by anybody is on YouTube. It was a Wallops Island launch where they created an artificial noctilucent cloud. Everybody thought it was a dud at first. You see the rocket from here. I'm standing in Germantown, I'm watching it. And then I've got like my neighbors are gathered around. And it gets up to maybe 40 degrees high or so, and nothing happens for like 4 or 5 minutes. Then all of a sudden, people started to wander off thinking nothing's happening. I happen to turn around, I see, boom.
It's cloud.
This cloud forms. It lasted maybe 30 seconds.
Wow.
You hold your fist out at arm's length, that's how much of the sky it took up.
Wow.
One person got that on film, and they got it gloriously. And the only place you can find it is on YouTube.
Well, you better download that. And
so, yeah, I've got copies backed up.
Yeah, right.
But if you're doing stargazing programs, I wish NASA was better at doing those kinds of things. They got a lot of criticism for not publicizing that, because people all along the East Coast saw it. Nobody knew what it was.
Yeah, right.
Those who follow the Wallops Island website knew it was coming. They put it on their Twitter feed. So that's how I knew about it, and I had my neighbors out waiting for it. But it was a spectacular sight.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, as long as you're doing Google and YouTube, I suppose you could say Facebook.
You could put them in references.
Yeah, that's right.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But YouTube's got so much stuff on.
Oh, I mean, it's incredible.
All the SDO, highlights and whatnot.
While we're doing this, I mean, might as well. What I'll do is I'll put a number next to each of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So info sources are, I may as well, see, this is corporate, news, Spacevidcast, we're going to put under the podcast category. Local papers is the news, or I guess, what do we call these info sites? So you think NASA Watch is more a policy thing, huh?
NASA Watch is more of a...
I would have said an info site, because it's everything.
Well, maybe what I'm seeing, what I'm getting is, again, I've forgotten her name, but the one who does Parsec 3, she used to go through everything. Yeah, she would go through everything, and that's how I learned of a lot of these sites, was through her postings on Twitter. And she had some kind of a computer meltdown and has not done them since. But I could literally spend an hour, sometimes 2 hours, just going through her tweets, reading all of the articles that she's posting.
Well, and that's kind of what Hobby Space will aggregate a lot of stuff from other sites.
After a while, you start to burn out that you just don't have time for it.
No. And you
want to.
Well, and thank God that, Clark or whoever is out there aggregating this stuff. And they've got little bots and agents out there notifying them of changes. What's going, because whenever I make a change to commercial space, my commercial space wiki, Clark's right on it. He'll note those changes.
Oh, I'm confusing NASA Watch with something else. Forget everything I said so far about what I thought NASA Watch.
Okay, NASA Watch is basically watching NASA, keeping an eye on NASA.
They
I would
some
stick
great
it
stuff.
3. I would stick NASA 3, space policy. Now we created a special policy category.
Yeah, I find stuff on NASA Watch that I don't find anyplace else.
Absolutely.
You're right.
References for Google, for YouTube will be 5.
I got a couple more here.
Keep going.
Want me to take some pictures and so I could erase some of these?
That's coming soon.
Okay.
I've got all this board yet.
Got, of course, Discovery Channel's Discovery Space. Yeah, let me go ahead and get the actual URL.
I'll tell you, I'll put double quotes around stuff. People can Google it. Or discoveryspace.com/space. And another website that a good friend of mine actually runs.
Probably put bad astronomy as a subset of
That was one. That was the other one I was going to mention. Dr. Ian O'Neill's website, Astro Engine.
Astro Engine?
Yep.
There was another one I was coming up with that I forgot when we started talking about. DiscoverySpace.com. This would be great. You put all these together in like a bookmark.
Now, what would you do for something like the Planetary Society site, the interest group organization?
Well, you've got it.
Well, we've got NSS and we've got. So again, I would put that.
Okay.
Should I make that kind of a corporate category?
I wouldn't exactly consider NSS corporate.
Well, I mean, I guess, and when I say corporate, it's like it's an organization's front door.
All right.
And maybe that's what I should call it, is more of a front door. Organizational front door. So I've got Wurio Report's just going to be an info source. Space Show, going to stick it under podcasts. Astronomy FM, let's stick it right under astronomy. Oh, we had RLB News, which is going to be an info source. Talking Space Online, podcast. Heavens Above, astronomy.
I don't know where, it's close enough. But it's
Oh, that's the one for satellite
Yeah.
spotting.
There's always been this, where do you put that?
That's okay. Let's put it in info source.
Every once in a while, you post something on an astronomy message board, and you get flamed if it was satellites. I don't know that that's the case anymore. But there was a time when you couldn't do that because it's not astronomy.
Yeah. I've got a little widget. I've got a widget on my iGoogle page,
Yeah.
which shows the current location of space station.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. I don't know why I do that. Okay, Discovery Space is going to be, I think that's an info source.
Do you want number ones? I could list a whole bunch of number ones.
I don't,
Okay.
but I don't want to be exclusive either.
Okay.
So I do, but I don't.
Okay. Well, I
Because I'm sure there's a gazillion of them.
I would put down, just because it's probably the first place you go, it's skyandtelescope.com.
Perfect.
Oh, Sky and Tel, Astronomy Mag, Astronomy
Yeah.
Mag, and those guys.
But if I'm planning to do a stargazing program in the future, and I want to know when Jupiter's Great Red Spot is going to be visible, I go to Sky and Telescope, and they have a little thing that you can plot.
What category would we stick Astro Engine in and bad astronomy?
I'm not familiar with Astro Engine, so you'll have to do that.
It's sort of along the same lines of, it kind of picks up from where Discovery Space sort of leaves off. It's a lot of, yeah. There's it's almost a quasi-blog.
Okay, so I put it in info.
Blogs I have problems with because there are so many good ones.
But there's
I
some
can't
really
keep up with
he
them.
does some really cool astronomy information on that.
Well, I was going to say, was it Carnival Space? Is that its own?
Yeah, it's its own deal, but it's also contributors.
Okay, which is fine, but okay, I'll put and then, yeah, I'm trying to think of what I end up getting off of Clark's page, what he links to.
And of course, there's the infamous Universe Today. How the devil can we forget that?
There you go. Is that a .com?
Yes, it is.
Close enough.
Sky and Telescope should be a 1, not a 2.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. One, these categories are totally
That's okay. I thought
back,
maybe
pulling on my back pocket.
consolidate them later and make a list.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Carnival Space, I guess, would be info. Universe Today, info.
Yeah. Kerbal Space is actually an offshoot of Universe.
Which one is?
Of Universe Today. That's cool. Because it's sort of a mishmash of editorials.
Right,
and
right,
websites.
right. Well, my prediction of more people streaming in here after 15 minutes hasn't come true yet, but we'll have good listening on the house. Let's see if I categorized all these guys. Looks like I did. A hobby space, I'm going to put it in info. Spacevidcast.com. I think it's kind of like an info thing. I mean, there's things like Open NASA,
Yeah.
you know, which is the young professionals within NASA putting stuff and blogging about more internal kind of.
That's kind of a gray area, what I had in mind for policy, and that I'm thinking of discussion sites where people, some subject, some controversy, some news of the day gets hashed out.
I think it's org. I'm not sure. Should I put that under policy, I think? For example, when I talk to folks, say that I'm going to the SpaceUp, they say, how did they advertise? And I should put a G after talking space, shouldn't I? As opposed to talking.
What would you do for citizen science type sites, where people, the first one that comes to mind is SETI at Home, but even things like a Moon Zoo or a Universe Zoo.
Are we talking about going over there to get information, or to actually
we're
science?
Somebody, the comet probe that crashed, that people were using the data processing for that was being used, home computers.
Yeah, I know, but is that information, or is that?
It's citizen science.
It's more of a participatory expert.
Yeah,
participatory
exploration. Category.
Yeah, it is. Is it SETIathome.org?
I think so.
Yeah. SETI, it would be ampersand, yeah.
Oh, are they ampersands right there?
Yeah, it would be SETI 80 with a circle.
We'll Google it if,
Okay.
No, I want to say Genesis?
That's what I'm looking for, Genesis, yeah.
But again, I don't know if the website is, but.
If you're wanting SETI at Home, I'll give it to you right now.
And do they have hyphens at SETI at Home?
I think it's an ampersand,
Oh.
isn't it? Maybe.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think that's it.
Yes.
It's SETI at Home is actually setiathome.ssi.berkeley.edu.
Okay.
Google it.
Yep.
But there are others.
Yeah, sure. Well, those are the kind of the examples, the pathfinders that NASA's trying to duplicate with their participatory.
I'm dying to get into Moon Zoo, and I just don't have the time yet. It's killing me.
Okay. And Moon Zoo is another one, citizen science one.
What was the one that they were
Galaxy
talking
Zoo is
about?
another, same thing.
Yeah, Galaxy Zoo.
So basically, this is the list that we three, off
I
the top
think
of our
we got
heads,
it,
come up.
and I think it's a pretty good one.
Hey,
It's pretty good for openers. For anybody, I'm serious, it's a pretty good list for openers, for people just trying to dig around for more information, and half of these things will lead to
point to each other and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. It's a good primer list. I think you've got a good representation of a lot of people here.
Yeah, what I'll do is end up taking this list and making sure it's over on the right-hand side nav bar of my wiki, you know?
So we're free to email you with new ones?
Which I just bookmarked.
There you go. I don't maintain it on a daily, well, I do it as needed, as necessary, and it's totally not dynamic like these other things. I'm doing it just on the side. But I try to keep the calendar going. I've got to update, when I go on travel, I get a chance to just putz through it, and so I'll probably be updating the calendar for 2011.
That was a big hole in my resources.
Calendar.
When my friend had heard about the SDS, I guess it was 127 tweet up here, and I didn't know about it. It just crushed me.
Yeah, well, I try to focus mostly on commercial space stuff, so it won't have everything. NASA Watch is a really good calendar. He's got a good...
it's a good list of seeing what's going
and
on.
like I said, the Space Ref ties into that.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's other sister sites under the Space Ref umbrella that they've got, so you can link to a bunch of other sites there.
Yeah, and they've got one for Canadian space efforts.
That's right, because Mark is part of that, yeah.
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 Darn good list, guys.
Now, the list that you're doing, is that, do you have like a local component? Like, do you have NASM or the Northern Virginia Astronomy Club, or?
I don't, not in my thing necessarily, because
I'm just wondering what you were interested in.
my personal interest has been the commercial space stuff, because I'm really focused on commercial space, now working at FA. Even when I was at NASA, I started at NASA when I was at NASA.
Okay.
But my job there involved trying to incorporate, at least keeping all of my bosses aware of what's going on.
Was it Goddard?
Say again?
Was it Goddard? Were you?
No, I was at the headquarters.
Okay.
And then when I moved over to AST, FAA, then commercial space is the prime focus. So they said, yeah, keep it up. So I've been just maintaining it. And there's nothing proprietary on there. There's nothing, not for public release. Everything, and I do it under my own personal, activities. So again, it's not totally not the best site in the world, but the calendar seems to impress people from time to time. So that kind of shocked me. But basically, I just those are going to be the conferences I'm going to most of the time. There's my list, my travel for the next year, kind of thing.
Right.
So I got to start updating it. So, okay, I would guess, I would say we don't kill time just because we're supposed to kill time.
Yeah.
If you want to take pictures of this stuff, yeah, and what we'll do is do the table of contents there.
Sure, I got pictures left here.
I appreciate you doing that. I mean,
No problem.
FAA, I shouldn't say this on camera. I'm going to start from the bottom of the list. We've got or a nonprofit, info and wiki sites, policy sites, reference sites, podcast, video and audio, as well as citizen science, kind of participatory exploration sites. So I'm going to read backwards in our list. We have something, galaxyzoo.com, do you think it is? Whatever it is, Google it. Moonzoo. There's the Genesis page. Too bad I didn't spell Genesis right.
I noticed that.
Should I take another picture?
It doesn't matter. We know what we mean. And then SETI at Home, of course. Those are the citizen science pages. We've got opennasa.org, universetoday.com, carnivalofspace.com, skyandtelescope.com, astroengine.com, badastronomy.com, discoveryspace.com/space. We've got youtube.com because it's a good source of some space videos that you can't find anywhere else, spacefrontier.org, nss.org, thelurioreport.com, thespaceshow.com, astronomy.fm. Where is .fm?
It's, I think it's just
They created that.
they created that for radio, I think.
Great. RLVnews.com, which is in a subset of the hobbyspace.com websites. TalkingSpaceOnline.com, which is found right here. HeavensAbove.com, SpaceflightNow.com, the super popular and ever going to take over the entire web. Commercial. You'll find it. Astronautics.com, Parsec3.com.
You're welcome, Liz.
And the final part of the list, spaceref.com, googlemoon.com, of course, and Google Mars and everything associated with that, parabolicarc.com, spacepolicy.com, spacepolicyonline.com, nasawatch.com, a lot of the local paper sites like Florida Today, Houston Chronicle, etc., .com, spacevidcast.com, space.com, spacedaily.com, nasa.gov, and spacenews.com. Now I'm going to take all these and put them on my site.
Yeah, I should do the same thing. By the way, the discovery thing is discovery.com/space, not discovery space.
Okay, thank you. Discovery .com//space. So yeah, I'll put a list on my website. I'm sure you guys will probably do it too. So if you people out in Netland have other ideas or other sites we need, please let us know somehow. You can send an email to me at ken.davidian@faa.gov, or you go to my commercial space wiki and leave a message there. Or contact the organizers and say those crazy guys, those three guys up in 209 and 3 to 4 on Saturday, came up with this list, you want to add to it. We'd greatly appreciate it. I think that's it. Let's say goodbye to the folks at home. Bye to the folks at home. We're done.
Do
Okay.
you have a wide angle camera on that?
I don't know. audio off.
Okay, so you're done.
We're done.